Hello everyone, I'm going to quickly go over a rather complicated example of an environment diagram. This video is meant to just give you an example of how to think through environment diagrams. Don't panic if this looks complicated. This week we'll be going from the ground up in regards to preparing to become masters at drawing these. To keep this video short and sweet, I'll get started and put additional info and resources in an email and perhaps in the video description. So, on exams, often but not always, they will draw out the initial information for us. So we can see lines 1 through 13 are already accounted for. So let's get started. I also listed the steps for evaluating function calls, which you should really internalize, and that really come in handy down the line if you get used to just going through those every time you see a function call. And so looking through this, the first part we have to execute looks rather complicated, but let's bring it back to the 3 golden rules. So the first function call, let's evaluate the operator, which is just the function joker, which is over here. The operand is the function abs, which is built in. And let's do the third step, which is apply the operator joker to the operand abs, which involves opening a frame. The parent is the frame in which a function is defined. In this case, they listed that for us, which is global, because we listed it over here in the global frame. It takes in a parameter Superman, whose value is the argument abs, or rather the pointer to this built-in function. And with that, let's begin executing the body of Joker. So if Superman of Batman, Superman is abs, Batman is not here, but it's in our parent. And so Batman is 1, so abs of 1. Note that with built-in functions, we don't show like the frame over here. We're just going to do it on the side because it's built in. And so absolute value of 1 is 1, and that is true-phi. And so this is true. IV, which isn't here, so we'll define it, is going to be assigned to negative Batman, which was Batman was 1, and so that's negative 1. We finished that, and so in the final line we shall return na. So let's look at na, and let's look in the box of na. It's a pointer to this function, so we return a pointer to that function. More on the distinction between pointers to functions and functions later. And so now if we return to where we were in line 14, we have evaluated this part to its return value, which is a pointer to na, and so we can replace this line with na of abs. This is equivalent. And let's finish evaluating this using the golden rules. The operator now is na. That's what over here, and then the operand is abs. Now step 3, let's apply the operator to the operand. So we have na. The parent is global, where it was defined, and it takes in Batman, which is going to be abs, which is this function. Let's point to that and execute the body of na. We have a while header here to make this easier. Let's rewrite that for our own sake. While, well, Batman is abs, so abs. Superman, it's not, Superman's not here, so we'll look at our parent, which is global, and Superman's here. Negative 2 is greater than IV. Again, it's not here. We don't look in F1. We look in our parent, which is global, and so IV is negative 3. Cool, and so this is 2, and this is true for the first step, so let's step in the body. Here we have a function definition of Batman, so we'll have func Batman. It takes in Joker in this case. The parent is where we are, which is F2. And Batman, the name Batman currently points to absolute value, but it's being redefinition, just write that down. And so Batman no longer points to that, it points over here. I'm going to erase this for clarity. To clarify, it points there now. It's a redefinition. So we got done with that. Let's loop back, loop-de-loop, because this is a while loop. evaluate that again. Let's just rewrite it. So and then now Batman is no longer abs. It's actually a new Batman. And Superman's not here. It's in our parents. It's still -2. And then Ivy is still in our parents. Global, it's -3. So, well, what's Batman of -2? Again, refer to the 3 steps. The operator is this function Batman, whose parent is F2, as we said. It takes in a Joker parameter, which is, in this case, -2. And so let's step into the body of that. And we see it simply returns Ivy. Well, what's Ivy? It's not here. Where do we look next? Is it global, F1, or F2? Where do we look next? The answer is our parent, F2. And so let's look here. It's not there. Let's look in the parent global. And it is there. It's still -3. So that's what we return. And so this becomes while -3 is greater than -3. -3 is equal to -3. So this is false because they're the same. So we're done looping loopity-loop, and then we're done. Now let's move on. We're going to return -Ivy. Again, we were in here, and so Ivy's not here. Again, look at our parents. Ivy is -3 still, and so -3, we return 3. And so that's that. Slightly complicated, but I believe you guys will be able to master this within the coming weeks with practice and dedication. More info will be in the email to come, and I hope this was helpful.